Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to those of you that it's your first time. My name is Marlinda and today I wanted to do a video about wedding stress, drama, and some tips to avoid the drama. Some tips to have the most peaceful, pleasant wedding. I think honestly, guys, so initially I wanted to have like this Airbnb wedding only because it was the pandemic and during COVID and a lot of things were shut down. And at the time we wanted to get married, sooner than later. We didn't want to wait, who knows? We didn't know when the pandemic was going to be over. We're still going through it now. So thankfully, everything is pretty much staying open for the most part. That was one thing about selecting the venue. And so I don't think I really realized or knew that planning weddings were going to be like that. It would be so stressful. And, I kind of just wanted something simple from the beginning, just for the mere fact of just the time period and the turnaround and just what I had going on. But weddings are very, very unique because a lot of the times your family just, really has something that they want to, see happen during the wedding. And weddings are a time where, family members gift, and they pay for things and they cover certain things. So it's just, honestly, it's like a beautiful blessing, but the stress that comes along with having a big wedding is, you just have to decide, is it worth it? So for me, I did want a small wedding, but, taking what my family wanted into consideration, I decided to move toward a bigger banquet style wedding. And would I change it now after it's all said and done? No, because it turned out very beautiful. I'm very grateful for everything. I look back at the video that I'll, always have as a cherished moment. But that's just it. It is a moment, and that wedding, it doesn't last that long. It goes by so fast, you can't even imagine. So I would say just take all of that into consideration. It's gonna go by fast, and just really, is it worth it for you? So I did write down some tips for you guys. And so the first one is to, one, meditate on good things and focus on the positive. So things are gonna come up during the wedding. Things are gonna come up possibly with your family, with your work situation, and you always want to stay as positive as possible and focus on those positive things. So, and I just want to also point out these tips, you guys, I wrote during, right after the wedding and while everything was still fresh. So these are quality tips, okay? And so the second one is don't compare yourself. Be careful of wedding posts, blogs, social media, and Pinterest. Pinterest is good because it helps you organize everything, but too much of Pinterest is bad. It can, put you on a little hamster wheel of trying to lock down certain things that you want. So I would try your best to limit, wedding posts, blogs, social media, magazines, Pinterest. You want to only, you want to make the decisions and then just leave it at that. You don't want to constantly be, on Pinterest or looking at different boards and posts, because you just don't want to compare yourself too much. It can get you can get off track, you can get off focus. I think it's best, to spend that time making the decisions and just really stick to what you want. Like I'm sure that I put that down here somewhere, but I'll just go through that now. Make sure that you stay true to what you want. And yeah, that's a little bit further down, okay. Okay, so the next tip, you guys, is to take breaks from planning to rest. And if you are in communication, like if you're having a big wedding and you're in communication with a team of people, and you're gonna be thinking about the planning, especially if you're like a thorough person or very organized, you're constantly going to be running through this stuff. Even when you're not in the meetings, you're gonna be prepping, you're gonna be preparing. It's like it never really stops, you just kind of can get like that. So I would take breaks, and I would announce to my core people sometimes, because I love them, and they really had my back, and they would just reach out whenever, and I would reach out whenever. And so like they needed breaks from everything, and then I also needed breaks from everything. So do that if you can. If you guys can all take a break at the same time, I think that works best. And then, you don't have to announce that you're taking a break, but if you want to just, if you need that like boundary, then just go ahead and do it. That was helpful for me, because it was like I was constantly planning and working on stuff. And then when people would, ask a question, it would kind of put you back into the planning, even if you were taking a break, just because you definitely wanted to, answer their question or figure something else out. And then, something else pops in your head that you want to figure out. So do that, stay true to that, taking breaks. The fourth tip is going to be to not allow people, and this is kind of what I started to get into, don't allow people to force their opinions on you. Everyone's gonna have an opinion of what you should do, what you should wear, what flower you should pick, what color you should have, who's gonna walk you down the aisle. Like, people have an opinion about everything. And I had other friends get married, and I witnessed the same thing, after my wedding. Like, you have to do a good job at staying true to what you want, and not letting people's opinions sway you too much. The wedding is truly supposed to be catered toward the bride and what she wants. Well, a lot of times it switches, and yeah, that's definitely something that I struggled with, because at the same time, it's like sometimes I think I just needed to tell someone, if I hadn't had time to figure out what I wanted, it would have been better for me to say, okay, you know what? I haven't decided yet, let me get back to you, instead of trying to make a decision on the spot and then I change my mind later because that's not actually what I really wanted. So it points out your little character flaws too, for sure, because I really had to work on my communication and just being able to articulate better and, put those boundaries up and really just, go for what I wanted and what made me happy at the end of the day. And lastly, guys, number 5 is going to be pace yourself with weight loss and fitness, for sure, okay? So I think I started off like strong with weight loss, and then the stress started to kick in, you guys, and it's like, thankfully I didn't gain like way more or like skyrocket. I pretty much like maintained the same weight, but yeah, it was just like too stressful for me personally to diet at one point. And it was just a lot of pressure I put on myself, you know. And I think it came from what I mentioned earlier, going on those blogs and Pinterest and going on the different social media and the comparison, and just like really wanting to show up a certain way on that day. And, you know, oh my gosh, the honeymoon, and like, it'll be our first time being intimate, and like, you don't want to think about all that and put that pressure on yourself to lose the weight, because at the end of the day, you have to remember that the person met you at that weight, and they love you at that weight, and they're going to be supportive of you at that weight. And so the pressure doesn't come from them, it just comes from yourself a lot of the time. So keep that in mind, pace yourself. If you're gonna do a diet, like, you might not want to start right at the beginning of the planning, or you just want to pace yourself. It just in case stress kicks in, you don't want to go like the way opposite. So just my advice is to just try to keep a steadiness and just pace yourself with it. Don't put too much pressure on yourself with it at all. So yeah, those are my 5 tips, you guys. And so the first one was meditate on good things, focus on the positive. The second was don't compare yourself. And the third one was to take breaks from planning and rest. And the fourth one was to not allow people to force their opinions on you. And lastly, the fifth was pace yourself with weight loss and fitness. I hope this helps you, and I hope that you're able to draw something from it and it helps you on your big day, or to prepare for your big day. At the end of the day, it is for you, and just enjoy it, because it's gonna go by so fast. Make sure you capture it on video for that reason, so that you can cherish it later. So that's it, you guys. And if you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe so you catch the next one. If you like this type of content, please give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment, and just let me know. And I'll see you guys on the next one.